we're getting there finally. Everybody's piling back on. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know how, I guess she was maybe the first one on, and I don't know how that made her host, to be honest with you, but somehow. All right, so everybody's coming back on. It's taking a second here. We had like 140 people on right before we got knocked off, and we're back up to about 95. So we'll give it a minute. Ah, she must have clicked the wrong thing. Thanks, Rivers.
Thought you'd be wearing bullhorns for Halloween there, Nico.
Nah, I'm not a big Halloweener. CJ, it said it's being live streamed instead of recorded. Yeah, it's being live streamed to YouTube, but in private mode. We can't, I used to live stream to our private Facebook group, but Facebook does not have enough storage for us, apparently, because I mean, just think about it. How much storage does Facebook have to have in order to be able to store all the data, all the posts, all the memes, all the videos, and everything that everybody's posting every day? It's kind of amazing, actually. But we've uploaded so many videos to Facebook, our private group. Before we used to live stream directly to the private group, and then they finally stopped us from doing that. So now I have to do it to YouTube and then share the YouTube link in our private group. Yeah, there is a way to do it, CJ, but it's just it's a couple extra steps that it's a pain in the neck. So I just go live on YouTube. I do it on a private YouTube channel that I have that no one sees, but when I share it, unless I share it to you guys. All right, so I think we're back up. We are ready to roll. Sorry for the delay, guys. This is not going to be a super long call today anyway, because what's going on in the markets is kind of needing to get through to Monday or Tuesday before there's going to be any real changes, I think. But here's what's going on. This is XRP. We did break the downward trending resistance after hitting. I'm going to just remove these drawings and start over here, because in the Discord, I posted this the other day. XRP was coming down to this level right here, which was this line, which is right around the 240 range. And that was a few days ago. That was yesterday. On the 29th, I posted this, basically the same thing coming down. Well, it was basically this support resistance level down here that we changed it to. So, and then this morning it did bounce on that level. Let's go back to the actual chart. I'll redraw it. I did get into some trades on the live Zoom last night, but I did not post them as signals because, again, guys, I'm just demonstrating. So when you see that I'm in a trade and you're like, oh, I didn't see a signal for that, don't freak out. Don't worry about it. A lot of times it's not a signal. It's just something I was demonstrating or showing somebody how to do something, and I just left the position open. I don't always share those because they're not necessarily good or sound trades. They're just it's me picking a direction at the very moment I'm giving the demonstration. So if you force me right now, say, okay, guys, I'm going to show you how to do something. I'm going to show you how to go long right now. Let me just take a quick look here. What do I think is going to happen in the next 10 minutes? Boom, and I'll make a decision. And sometimes it works in my favor. Like this trade right here, I did open this at 250. I don't forget what it was. 249, and I'm up $276 on that one, but I did share that one. That was my last, that was this entry right here. Signal. And this is what's happening. I said be cautious because this could be a reverse cup and handle, but I'm not so sure that it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a upward trend here. I'm going to go back a little further. And I'm going to go, remember when we had this big giant drop? I'm going to go back to where the second candle. So let's look at this. This is the big drop from back on October 10th. I'm going to spread it out so you can see. You see right here where the wick came all the way down to here. By the way, I'm on the 10-minute time frame and popped up to here before climbing. I'm going to take that and go like this way. And then I'm going to bring that over and touch the bottoms of all of these downward trending touch points. Get rid of that one. That's obviously not even the one I was intending to. I think I got to go to the hour time frame. There it is. This candle right here. It was the second candle in the hourly. After we wicked all the way down, we came up and we wicked down to here. You can see that. So I'm going to put that first line right there. And then I'm going to touch this one. And continue up. You see how that works? That's where I came to that touch point. And that's exactly where it hit. And I drew that a couple days ago before it got there. As you can see here, it wasn't quite there yet. And this line that I have here is not even the same line I just drew. But if you draw it from this, because I'm on the 15-minute time frame here, but if you go to the hour and you draw it from that wick straight across, it comes to that same point, which is at the, $2.38 to $2.40 range. And so we're bouncing here for now, but is this just a temporary bounce? Are we going to continue this curve? So what I will do is I will put a downward trending resistance. It looks like we've actually broken it already to the upside. Go ahead. Someone was going to say something. This is the most recent drop-off zone area right here. And we whipped up to it here. We hit it here. We broke through and retested here. So in my opinion, this is a breakout to the upside. This could be a big handle on a reverse inverted cup and handle, but that I don't know yet. That would look like this.
And inverted cup and handle means it suggests it might go down or
upside down. Yeah. So upside down cup and handles usually would break to the downside, and that would look like this. If it did, it would come down to this level. And where would that bring us, guys? Somewhere around the $2.22 range. And if you just bring that over, you will see there is a support level right there. And of course, that is all possible going into the weekend, but I'm not so sure that that is an inverted cup and handle. It does look like one for sure. It looks like the start of one, but it does depend on this handle. If this handle comes down, starts to come back down to retest this level, I would then be concerned that that could be the case.
So it'd have to break 240. Is that what you're thinking? Like the 240 area for it to come down and be and bounce off that further resistance.
Yeah, it depends on how you look at it. It could just be a I mean, it really does look like one now on the
Mhm.
4 hour time frame. But if we look at it as a generally speaking, the handle on a cup and handle is a bull flag. The handle on a inverted cup and handle is a bear flag usually, and so that's kind of like what we're looking at here. This could just be a big bear flag. And if that happens, we don't need for it to come all the way down to 240. You just need to break this flag to the downside.
Mhm.
And then we're looking at from the flag breakout down to that level probably. And that would be the 223 range.
Do you recommend maybe I entered into the trade that you recommended today, but would you recommend
I would only reverse it or close it out if it breaks that flag to the downside. If it keeps climbing
Yeah.
this in this channel, then it could invalidate this as a cup and handle and invalidate this as a bear flag, especially if it gets all the way up to the drop point. If it gets all the way up to, I would say 257, 260, probably not really a cup. It's not really a bear flag anymore.
Okay, great.
There is a resistance and support level up here that we don't really look at too much on these curves like this, but technically speaking, we're resistance, support, support. We break through and we resistance before we drop. So that it could come up to that level. So if it breaks to that level, I would just move your stop loss into profit. And then if it does turn around and drop, then it'll take you out in profit at least, or at least break even or not losing money.
Mhm.
And then we can decide if it's going to come back down or not. We may not be done with the dumping, guys. So let's look at Bitcoin. This is the tide that rises all boats. Bitcoin broke a downward trending channel to the upside as well. But is it really done? I mean, as you can see here, we had a downward trending channel that broke to the upside before. Broke to the upside and did not make a higher high, did not get higher than this, pretty much double topped at that level and then fell down again. But did it get lower? No, didn't get lower yet, but could it? Sure. We could just be, I mean, I am on the 4 hour time frame here, and this could be looked at as a couple things, either a W or turning into an M pattern, but it's, some of these patterns are not playing out with the highest level of percentage that they normally do because of all the strange stuff going on in the world. So things are a little bit uncertain, but the overall trend, as you can see, if you zoom out, and we are in a downward trending, widening channel. This could be looked at a couple ways. Is this a big bull flag, or is this a bearish trend? Let's go and look at the most common patterns. Kind of like it's not really showing on this one, but whenever the bottom is going down of a widening, expanding triangle, the bottom is going down, but the top is staying flat. It's more of an indecisive type of pattern. Doesn't really know which way it's going to go. I don't really see it on there. Here's well, I would say this is an example, but that one's not really the same. So this also could be looked at, and it's very Wyckoff-ish as well. Let me go back and look. couple ways to look at this, guys. We've, we did hit resistance back here at the 108, 109. We come up to 112. We broke above it at 112. We bounced on it for a while. We broke back below it. We came back above it, below it, above it, and below it. And now we're below it. This is a major support and resistance level that we do need to get above. I would say anything above the 110.5 to 112 range. We need to hold above that on the weekly for a week. And we haven't. So,
Nico,
yes.
if you go on 1 month for Bitcoin and then you change it to line chart, it's look like if it's it's like it's dumping hard. Can you check that?
On the
And
monthly?
we can, yeah, change it to line and see. It's like the first image you saw on the cheat sheet.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I gotta pull up my other.
Check it and see.
Talking about this candle?
I changed it to line chart, like the blue line.
Oh,
chart.
the line chart. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you see what I meant?
You're talking about this big
It's
drop?
look like that. I don't know. I was looking at it and I said,
Yeah.
let's see it.
A lot of times, I mean, it could be that we have further to go. Here's an example. We hit a top, we drop down, we make a lower high, and then a higher low, but then another lower high, and then a lower low. Right before a big pump to the upside. So it could be that we do have some further dumping to go.
I don't know. I'm just looking at it and I said, let's share it together.
Yeah. No, it's good. This was back when we hit, the 73K zone, and we did basically a bullish flag, but we did this for 6 months before we broke out. And it does kind of look like that. Something like that could be forming here again. It's just too early to tell, but we do have definitely that would be a big bull flag. But if we go offline chart and we just go back to normal candles, you go down to the weekly, it's just easier to see. This was the last time that it looked like this. I mean, obviously we need to break out of the flag and get back up to previous all-time high. Right here was 73.8. We winded into this flag for 280 days, almost 7 months. We broke out and we came right up to that line. Boom, hit resistance. And then, I mean, this candle right here was like a huge shoot to the upside. And so if we did break out of this flag, we would first shoot up to this line, which was previous all-time high, around the 123 range that we were talking about. Obviously, right here, we got to 124.5, and here we got to 126. But none of those held above the 123, which was this original spike up. So technically speaking, that's the line. 123, 123.3, 123.5, somewhere in that range. And that's probably what we would come up to and hit as resistance first. If we did that, I would be prepared for major longs, guys. I would be prepared for the breakthrough and a huge pump to the upside for the final, big rally of this bull market. But this could, this was back on July when we hit the 123. August, September, October. Going into November. We're going 4 months in this downward trending channel. This one right here took about 7 months. That would bring us closer to this line here if it did take that long, but we don't necessarily need to hit that line. That is this, by the way, this red line right here is a long running support and resistance line going all the way back to 2011. Resistance, resistance, support, support and resistance, support and resistance, support, 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 support. If we go, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I said it has been almost a year since that November 5th pump, but that was the election, but it was around the same time. So
Yeah, when we broke out of this, that was a year ago. True. If we take another support and resistance line and we touch these wicks, this wick, then we are much closer to hitting a upward trending support line. But and then if we look at it this way, we are definitely in a upward trending, potentially. Change the color of this. Rising wedge, which could bring us up to the top around 130, 135, somewhere up here, unless we broke through it. And anybody want to tell me what rising wedges normally do?
break down.
Yeah, they usually break to the downside eventually. They obviously can continue to rise in that wedge, but if they don't break through the top of it, they generally break to the downside.
And also on the daily, it's like it's something look like head and shoulder on the daily. I don't know if you see that or it's not.
Yep, I do. We're right in the middle. I'm going to get rid of this.
Maybe it's going back as a W, but the last figure looked like head and shoulder. I don't know.
Right there.
Yeah.
Head and shoulders tend to break to the downside also, guys, and that is definitely a giant head and shoulder. So on the daily. Now, if that were to break to the downside, where would it go? So this is what technical analysis is, guys, where we're just kind of determining, and where do you bring this down to is pretty much depending on the angle of the support. So the support is at an angle, downward trending. I'll just do it to there for now. We're going to bring that over to here. If it were to break out to the downside, this is kind of what we're looking at. And that would bring us down to the 93 zone. And what is significant about that? Well, we do have major support right here. And we also have, and we've been talking about this for a while, between the 91.5, I would just put it right here at 91.2 to the 91.35 zone. The CME gap, which we tend to always fill 90, I don't know, 80% of the time, 85% of the time. Now, that would be a big break to this upward trending support line there if that were to happen, but not the overall upward trending. Even if I took a line from the bear market bottom at 15.5 right here, this line's going all the way back to 2011. That's a different one. But if I just took one here and went up, we are hitting it right now. So that would be a break. That would certainly be a big break. Maybe we're not hitting it yet, but depends on, I would say that it's more likely that we've already broken it, because if I take a line from the bear market bottom and really touch the majority of all of these touch points and these wicks, let me get rid of that. Seems to me, oops. Seems to me that we might have already went through it. And retest it. Broke through, retest. Head and shoulder. Bam.
Hard time, right? Ningo?
What's that?
Difficult to decide, right?
Yeah, interesting. I mean, guys, you take this into consideration with also the time of the year, the time of the bull market. We are technically in the last few months, 2 months of a typical bull market cycle, which is the last 2 months of the third year. Bull markets tend to usually only last 3 years, and then they take about a year to get back down to the bear market bottom. So it's a 4-year cycle. So if you just look at all of the indications, and then you try to come up with intelligent decisions based on the facts at hand without emotion, take emotion away from it. Doesn't matter what you want it to do. We look at what's actually happening in the charts. And then you look throughout history and you say, what normally happens when this happens? Could this time be different? The answer is yes. This time could be different. We have a lot of different things happening. We have a president who's making so many huge changes so quickly that we're in constant just swivel head mode as to what's going on. And there's an old saying about Trump that he plays checkers and is usually about 8 steps ahead of everyone else, while everyone else is playing checkers. He plays chess, rather. And he'll put a tweet out threatening 115% tariffs to China, and people get scared and the stock market crashes. But most people don't realize that he's like really good friends with the leader of China. And this is just a game. And then they come to terms. They'll sit down the next week and, laugh about it. Or they'll just come to an agreement. China doesn't want a world war. China doesn't want a trade war with the US. Then he says, hey, all of these countries have all these nuclear weapons. They're doing all these tests. I think let's change the Department of Defense to the Department of War. And I think we need to start testing nuclear missiles like everyone else does. We got more than everyone else. Let's test them. Let's show our strength. You know how that Korean leader likes to send missiles over South Korea just to show off. Trump's like, okay, you want to see some tests? Putting more fear out into the world.
Hey, Nico, this is Trump's last term in office. I mean, if you're thinking of running, I'm for it.
Well, Trump has much more of a chance of winning a third term than probably anybody else. And if you don't think that's possible, let's just wait and see.
It happened once or twice before, didn't it?
I wouldn't bet against him at this point. Just like I wouldn't bet against Elon Musk and a lot of people. I mean, there are literally politicians, Ocasio-Cortez and Chuck Schumer, who says that Trump is an idiot. Trump is dumb. He's a moron. Elon Musk, idiot, dumb. What's he thinking? These people are so stupid and so ignorant to make public statements like that. You're talking about Elon Musk, one of probably the Einstein of our time, one of the most intelligent geniuses in our lifetime to live. Doesn't matter what you think about him. Doesn't matter whether you like him or not. Even his own brother says he's got no compassion and no sympathy because of his I can't remember what mental ailment he has, but
it doesn't he have Asperger's too?
Asperger's, yeah.
Yep.
So with Asperger's, you don't really have compassion or sympathy. If someone says, "Oh, I don't feel good today," he's like a suck it up, buttercup kind of guy. We don't. Okay, you don't feel good. So, are you going to get this thing done that you said you're going to get done? That's the kind of guy he is. Now, if you were his friend, you would probably think he has no compassion and he doesn't care about you. But that's just the way he is. But he obviously gets shit done. He accomplishes more in a day or in an hour than most people will in a year. As far as whether he's smart or not, I mean, you can't. I mean, anybody who's even if you're one of the smartest people in the world, to say that he's not smart would be a stupid thing to say. But when you're one of the dumbest people in the world, like AOC, and I say that with all due respect, I say that because I don't mean dumb, I just mean very low IQ in comparison. To say that someone with a genius mentality is a dumb person or is making dumb decisions, they have no idea what level these people are playing at, and what their decisions are, how far ahead. Like Trump wants to end a war. So instead of coming out publicly and saying, I would like to end a war, he says, fuck around and find out. Excuse my language. That's what he says publicly. Oh, you want a war? Okay, do this and we will bomb you into smithereens. Everybody gets panicked, but really what he did is he accomplished what he said, ending wars. He just does it in a way that he knows works, but other people get scared about. So, and listen, I'm not kissing Trump's ass. Trump does a lot of shit that makes me scratch my head and, wonder why he said what he said. But in the end, again, it works out to his favor. Could he do it a different way? Could he be more, tactful and cordial? Yeah, he could, but apparently that's not his strategy and that has never served him well. And, for those of you who are younger, you don't know, but Trump, since I was a kid, Trump was always praised as a businessman. Even Obama said that Trump is the American dream way, way, way before Obama, when Obama was running for president the first time. And he was on every talk show and every TV show, and they all had him as a guest and they all loved him. Oprah Winfrey was good pals with him. All the Democrats loved him at one point. And it wasn't until he ran for president as a Republican that they all turned on him. But with that being said, that doesn't change anything. They call him Teflon Don for a reason. No matter what you throw at him, no matter what you accuse him of, no matter what you sue him for, he ends up winning. And even if you win the lawsuit, he gets it reversed and then wins and then resues you, and you owe him all of a sudden. Every time. So I don't know why people bet against these people who just keep turning things into gold, everything they touch. So I don't know. With that being said, the markets are just in a little bit of dismay and fog right now because they don't know which way to go, because it's a tug of war with what's actually happening and what people think are happening. And so you got fear and greed out there in the marketplace. You got regular people who aren't paying attention to what's going on. You got Democrats and Republicans all making decisions, and all of their little decisions, all their little buy and sell orders, and all their, selling their stock, going long, buying stock, selling, houses, whatever. It all is just a giant ebb and flow in the market. And sometimes it pulls more than it pushes. And we just kind of have to read the writings on the wall here when we're looking at these charts, and we have to detach ourselves emotionally from it and think logically. And so it doesn't matter what I want. I think that Bitcoin has the potential to pop up to 160 to 100 to $200,000.
Don't keep clothes on, babe.
Michelle, you talking to me? So Bitcoin has a potential to jump up to between 155 and 200,000 in this bull market. And there are charts that can confirm that that is possible. Because for one thing, we haven't completed this bull market cycle yet. We got a couple months left. And historically speaking, in every bull market in past, we had huge pumps in November and December. And so we're just now coming into November. And also historically speaking, before we have these big pumps, we have big dumps right before that happens every time. We don't really remember these, but let's just go look. See this right here? Doesn't look like much on the chart, but let's just look. That was a 17% drop. Equivalent, that's even more than what happened on October 10th. Followed by a 12% drop right after it climbed back up. Then it pumped up, and then another 12% drop. Then we really pumped up all the way to 42,000, and then dropped 32% before shooting up to a new all-time high. So from 42,000 all the way back down to 29,000. 30%. So what would that look like right now if we dropped 32% right before we shot up? And I'll show you right now and I'm going to do it from the top because that's what it would be. From 126, 32% would be bringing us all the way back down to 85K. And that would be right, just basically clearing this CME gap that I have right here between the 91. Now we've already dropped 17% from the top and bounced. But hey, another 15%, no biggie. Hold my beer, Bitcoin says. And let's just say it did that. Let's just say it dropped another 12, 13%. Or 15, 16% from where it's at right now. That would be right down to 91K. And I wouldn't even flinch. We've seen it so many times. It just seems like a normal pullback. But the markets don't look at it that way. They're like, oh my God, another 10 billion was liquidated from the market today. Bitcoin is doing something it's never done in history.
Coming down to get something to eat.
Please mute yourself out, guys, if you're not talking to me. So it's not true. Bitcoin's been doing this from the beginning. Over and over and over again. Look at this one. Bitcoin shot up to a new all-time high here to $270 and dropped 80% before climbing up to a new all-time high. %, guys, imagine. So I don't worry too much about these ups and downs because the overall trend is up. But, you know, along the way up, we're going to have big pullbacks, sometimes 10%, sometimes 20, and maybe even a 30 or 40%er give or eventually. And if we did drop 30% from where we're at now, that would just bring us right back down to previous all-time high, 74% or 74,000. And probably would have a huge bounce after that. So let's go. Look at what's going on with XRP. We're at 250 on XRP. We already had the giant wick down. I mean, is it possible to double bottom? Is it possible to come back down again? I mean, we come right back up and we held support right at the 240, the 230, 240 range, and this upward trending support line. We have a downward trending resistance line here. We'll get rid of all this other stuff so we can see. Man, USDT margin is not good. I gotta complain to somebody. Am I the only one that's having this problem? Chart just lagging on the USDT. On XRP margin, it's very quick, but on USDT, it seems like
I have that same problem. It's terrible. I actually started working out of TradingView because I couldn't get Phemex to work, and I was building charts out of USDT, and I had the same problem.
yeah, I mean, I think I brought it to someone's attention, told me to clear my cache. They told me to do. I said, yeah, but that doesn't make sense because it works fine on a coin margin. Like this is a coin margin. Look how fast everything is. It just seems to be on the USDT margin.
Yeah, it's weird.
So, so a couple things have to happen, guys, for XRP, Bitcoin, you know, the big players to have another push to the upside. I think Bitcoin is still the tide that's going to rise all tides. That's what we need to see move up. But in the short term, some of you probably should not be even scalping. Some of you, because I've seen some comments about people who lost or got wrecked or whatever. And I know, listen, your goal is to make a lot of money, right? That's why you're here. Some of you would be better off waiting for just the big moves and not trying to get in all these little moves. But, you know, if you look at it this way, this is what I would recommend, even for everybody. This is what I would recommend is trade the little moves to learn how to trade, to learn how to get in and get out, to scalp, but make sure that you're setting proper risk management and you're not risking too much on these little scalps, even if you're not going to make that much, because you're just learning while you're waiting for the big moves. When the big moves happen, how do you know when the big moves are getting ready to happen? Well, we break out of key support and resistance levels. We get above certain levels to where it's finally time to take, you know, to get into a much bigger, heavier trade. So I would just say,
And Nico,
go
I appreciate that too, because I feel like, you know, in mock trading and in some of the trades that I have entered with real money as well, I've been doing it in smaller increments and learned that it's okay to take profits at it. Like, so there's been times where I'm like, okay, should I take profit now or wait? And then I wait and then I lose on that profit.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes it's just while I'm learning, just take the profits and, you know, and also staying in the market and watching how these charts move. Like it's really interesting too, because I've learned a lot just by being in it, right? So I think it's helpful as well, even in the smaller moves right now.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I appreciate you saying that. I mean, guys, take profit. Okay. How many of you, I want to, that's why I came off my screen here to ask you that question. How many of you have been in profit and didn't take it? And then it was too late because it went back out of profit. How many of you have ever been in that situation? I would probably bet you most all of you have. Right?
All the time, Nico, all the
All the
time.
time.
Yeah.
Yes. So let me ask you this then. How many, if you would have taken profit every time you were in profit, would you be a profitable trader or not?
Of course.
It's almost a dumb question at this point, but we are in our own way sometimes because of greed and fear. And this is just an emotional thing, and there's nothing wrong with greed or fear. It's a human emotion. We all have it. But the reason you have to then let's just deduce this down to why we're doing it. The reason we're not taking profit when we're in profit is what?
Greed.
Right. We think that it's going to go more profit. We think that if we get out now, we're going to miss out on more money. And it never usually is the case, is it? It usually turns on you, especially if you got in at a good entry and it pumped into the direction you want. Pumps never keep pumping, guys. Dumps never keep dumping. As soon as we have a big pump, it usually is a pullback. As soon as we have a big dump, it usually is a big bounce. Not usually, always. Never once have I ever seen a chart just go down, 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 and never stop going down, or vice versa. So take the profit and wait for the next trade setup. How often till the next trade setup? Usually pretty quickly. Usually there's another trade setup. And even if it is only once a week, it's not. It's probably more like every day. But even if it is once a week, if you were making a profitable trade every week, wouldn't you end the year up quite a bit and your account be grown quite a bit? And I know everybody's different. And I know everybody's playing with different amounts, but I get DMs from people in this group. I'm not going to name names because I don't want, some people are private. Hey, Nico, I made $38,000 on that last trade on this particular coin. Should I take the profit now and move that in? Like big money people are making. And then I see comments in the chat. Oh man, I'm down with memes with their wallet open and the wallet's empty. So I'm like, is everybody learning? Is everybody on the same page? Is everybody doing different? Obviously, everybody's doing different things, but why are some people so profitable and some people not? And then I realized that it's not because that you all haven't been in profit or have profitable trades. It's just because you're not taking the profit. And this is not a insult to anybody. I've been there, done it myself many times, even recently. Chad has done it many times, even recently, where we've been in profit and we didn't take the profit because we think that it's going to continue to do something that we're doing. Now, I always tell you guys, and I've said it until I'm blue in the face, move your stop loss to break even at least or into profit. And then your stop loss will get hit, and then it'll bounce where your stop loss is and then continue back up. And you'll be like, shit, if I didn't put my stop loss there, I would be much more in profit. But what is the goal? Is the goal to be much more in profit? Of course, we all want to be much more in profit. But the first goal in trading, guys, and if you haven't been to any masterclass in trading, is the preservation of capital. The first goal is to not lose money. Yes, we want to make money, but let's not lose any. So if you can get yourself into a no-lose situation on a trade, meaning you're in profit, you move your stop loss to break even or in profit a little bit, you're not doing that to make a huge amount of money on that trade. You're doing that to eliminate the risk of loss. If it does continue after that in the direction you want it to go, then you will make a lot of money. But if it doesn't and it comes back down, at least you didn't lose any. You didn't make any, but you didn't lose any. And you live to trade another day. That's what trading is. And if you get good at that, if you can condition yourself to do that, it is the same as your goal is to lose 20 pounds. And every morning you get up and you put your sneakers on and your outfit and you go for a nice 40-minute walk. And then when you get home, you open up the pantries in the fridge and you see all the food that you shouldn't eat and you don't eat it. It takes discipline. It takes actually you making a conscious decision to do the thing or not to do the thing that you're not supposed to do and do the thing you're supposed to do.
It also takes
But if you did
experience.
that, guys, if you did what I just said, when it comes to diet or eating, you would ultimately feel better and look better and lose weight because it works every time for everybody. If you just took the profit every time you're in profit, you would be a consistently profitable trader. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to share a story because I think it's important. So this is my second bull run that I've been in. I got absolutely wrecked in the last one. And a big part of that was because I didn't take profit, and I didn't lose a lot when I look at my broader portfolio of investments, but it was a hard lesson. Like I walked away with nothing, in the last bull run. So, my takeaway has been never be afraid to take profits, never sit on profits too long, never get greedy. I mean, it was a really hard lesson. So I'm looking forward to this bull run in a different way because I have a different mindset. But sometimes you almost need to lose to learn it. And I'm glad I've learned the lesson. I'm ready for it this time,
Yeah. And not only that, guys, but let's just say you were fortunate enough to get in at the very bottom of a bull market, like 15.5 when we were at the bottom in 2022, going into 2023, and you just went long and you just never closed it out. Okay, yeah, you'd be up 7-8x right now without leverage. 70x with 10x leverage. I mean, you'd be up huge right now. But okay, first of all, very rare do people get in at the bottom or get out at the top. So the good thing is like what he was just saying is that if you enter a position right now long and it goes up, let's say it goes up to 126 Bitcoin and it hits its previous all-time high, and instead of staying in it, you just closed it out and took the profit. And then it broke through 126 and retested as support. Are you going to be mad that you didn't stay in because it's going to go up higher? Or can you not just get in again and ride up the next wave? So to me, it doesn't make sense not to take profit because, first of all, that's why you're trading, is to make a profit. Second of all, I think the fear and greed factor is that, and by the way, this has been proven in the gambling world. It's been proven through casinos and in psychology. They've proven this, that people are not addicted to winning. They're addicted to losing. And most people don't want to believe that. Oh, I'm not addicted to losing. I want to win. But here's the thing. They did test on people at the casino. And what's happening is you sit down at the, let's just say it's the, what are those things called? You pull the slot machine. You sit down at the slot machine, right? And you put $10 in or whatever, 20 bucks. And you pull. And then you pull. And you're not winning. It's the value's going down, 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 down. You're getting down. You're getting down to $1 left out of your 20 bucks. And all of a sudden, ting, 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 you just won 10. So you're back up half of what you started with. But you don't take that out and say, oh, I'm going to walk before I lose this money. No, you're going to play that $10 back down. It's the pull. You're addicted to losing the money, losing the money, losing the money. As soon as you win, boom, ding, 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 you're back up to 50 bucks. Okay, you just now doubled the money you started with but you don't pull it out and walk away from the casino with twice as much money as you started with. What do? You keep doing it because you're not there to just double your money. You're there to win the big jackpot. So you pull, and that $50 goes all the way back down to $1. And then bing, you pull it. You didn't win anything. You just lost. You lost not only the $20 you started with, but the $50 you brought it up to. And then what do? Do you leave the casino? No, you go to the ATM machine and you get another 20 and you do it again because you just remembered that you just doubled that money. You just didn't take the profit and you think you're going to do that again. So you put another 20 in and again, you bring it up to $100, but you're not here to make $100. And so you play, you bring that down to zero. So now you're negative $120, but you could have had $150. You're negative down. I mean, you lost 20, you lost the first 20, then you lost another 20. That's 40 total out of your pocket. But you could have walked with 50 on that first one and then another 100 on the second one. So they've determined that people are really addicted to losing, not winning. But no one wants to admit it. And because it's a psychological thing. And so when you're trading, you're up, you're in profit. The difference between the people who build their accounts to unimaginable amounts. And there's another guy, you can find him on YouTube. He's an Asian kid. I mean, he made like $10 million last year. I mean, he started with like, I don't know, $5,000. Yin or Yum, I can't remember what his name is. I'll find him. Very impressive. Stock market, by the way, not crypto, but his thing is that he doesn't care about huge gains. He just cares about not losing. And he takes calculated trades, but when he's in profit, he takes the profit and he waits for the next trade setup. And we have another guy in our group. I don't know if he's on this call. Paul. I don't know if Paul's on here. He's been in our group since the beginning. When we were doing ICOs, he grew his account from $1,200 to $35,000 in like 2 months. And everybody was like, how did you do that? How did you do that? He was taking all the signals we were giving him. The difference is that even though some of these went up 10x, 20x, 30x, as soon as he 2x'd, he got out. He didn't care if it was going to go up higher. He just doubled his money and then waited for the next one. Doubled his money and waited for the next one. And he grew his account much quicker than everyone else. It's kind of like the tortoise and the hare story. You're not really getting there any faster by doing it the other way. And so with all that being said, guys, I know you're here to learn. I know you want to trade. I know you want to hit home runs. I know you want to make big money, but sometimes you have to do all of those things, swing for the fences, get liquidated, not have stop losses, do all the bad things in the attempt to make the big money to learn the lesson that I'm trying to tell you here, because we've all done that. And it is a psychological, it is human nature. It's like the old kid touching the stove thing. You can tell them all day long not to touch the stove, but until they actually touch the stove and get burned, will they really learn the lesson? You have to actually experience the pain of loss in order to really learn why you shouldn't do it again. And if I was selling Crypto Renegades coaching memberships and programs, and I told people that you're going to lose, and you got to just get used to that pain, no one would want to buy into that, right? But the truth is that we all understand this. We all understand it, that it's true, especially after you've done it for a little while. And if you're an adult and you have children, you understand that kids aren't going to learn shit unless they experience it themselves. Don't jump over that creek with your bicycle, little Jimmy. You're going to hurt yourself. And Jimmy goes and builds a ramp to not only jump over the creek, but to do it further and higher than all of his other friends. And he lands on the other side and wrecks his bike and sprains his ankle or breaks his shin. Is that the end of the world? No. Jimmy learned a lesson. I mean, this day and age, you see kids riding around with helmets and knee pads and elbow pads and all kinds of shit. Back in my day, we didn't even have shoes on. we had our jean cutoff shorts, no shirt, no shoes, flying from, riding our bicycles off of rooftops into people's swimming pools. Scars, scratches, bruises, broken bones, stitches all over every week, it seemed like. Burn marks. Parents taking us to the emergency room all the time. Not even our parents sometimes, because mom was at work while I was skipping school. Times have changed, but the people who learn from those experiences end up doing better in life. They end up making more. They end up understanding what the real consequence of something is. And that's why we kind of laugh at professors in college who teach business and finance who've never had any real practical application in the real life. They've never had a business. They've never made millions before. But then we got teachers on YouTube who are high school dropouts who've made millions teaching how to make millions. Who are you going to listen to? The professor in college who's never done it, or the kid on YouTube who dropped out of high school and made millions by the time he was 22? Who should you listen to? Yeah, CJ, mindset really is everything. Let me just get to some questions here. Donnie, hi Nico. If this 4-year cycle proves to be different than the last one, would you say the 4-year cycle is officially over? Yeah, probably. Well, at least until I see it again, but yeah. I guess that would be a fair thing to say. Steve asks, why on Phemex does it have $200 as the maximum TP you can set on XRP trades? $200 or 200%? Let me just look at what you're talking about.
Nico,
Yeah.
can we analyze 4 hours on Bitcoin again, please?
Yes. Give me 1 second. Let me just answer this question.
Thank you.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
On the left side, the trigger price 200 is the
Right here?
max. Yeah,
Well, 200 XRP, $200 per XRP, you mean?
yeah, for the price of the coin token.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I noticed that the other day with the Ethereum when I was taking profits. It said the max I could take out was 66,000 worth. And I was like, okay.
Interesting. I never put a max take profit on there, so I don't know. But I also never traded on P. Now, let me just go back over here and say, because if you do 1,000% gain,
Does that just mean you'd have to take profit in phases or?
that might just be how far you can put a take profit target. I think if it actually shot up to $200 per token, and you didn't have a TP and you were still in the trade and it just kept going to $300 or $400, I'm pretty sure that it would not close out the trade. It would just, you'd stay in that trade. But I'd have to ask. It might just be a parameter based on the current price and value. I don't know what that would mean if it did that. I'd have to find out, but it's a good question. I never typed that in. 4-hour chart on Bitcoin. What did you want to know? As you can see, we are coming back down.
Yes, I saw like the last week. Is it trying to go to 112 or 113 first before dumping, or what do you think about it on the short term?
It looked like it was breaking out of this downward trending channel, just like over here. I showed you where it broke out, retested, and climbed higher. It looks like it's retesting right now on the 4-hour.
Maybe going
That's all it's doing. Oh, it's retesting.
maybe going back to 112, 113 before dumping.
Well, yeah,
back.
I mean, 112 is a major support and resistance level. It's this line right here. Right there to be exact. I just have it down a little lower. I would say the 110.5 to 112 range. It needs to
Okay.
get above that, and it needs to hold above that for like a week in order for us to really
Okay.
get out of the woods, in my opinion. But look, it's done it a couple of times here, guys. I mean, you can see if we go back, we've gotten above it and below it, going all the way back. Here was the major resistance. This was the all-time high at one point, 112, right here. This is when we first got to 112 and we hit major resistance. And then we dropped all the way down to 98, came all the way back up. This was a big bull flag right here. Right? We hit it, we broke out, retested the downward trending flag, and then popped right up and hit the resistance again right there at 112. Broke out, made new all-time high at 118, popped up to 123, and then consolidated all the way down and bounced on the 112. Came back up, made a new all-time high at 124.5, came right back, bounced on 112. Bounced on 112. Went through it, retested 112 as resistance, went through it, support, went through it, resistance, 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 support, 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 resistance, support, support, resistance. Very strange what's going on with the 112. Support, resistance, support, resistance, support, 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 breakthrough, resistance. You can see when it broke, I mean, look at that. It's very interesting. When it does break through, it still hits it again as resistance. Came back up, broke through, support. And then support, 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 resistance, resistance, breakthrough, support, resistance, support, 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 resistance. So major something going on there with the 112. And then and several times we dropped real far. I mean, this is when we had the big dump on the 10th, all the way down to 101.5. We had another low here, 103. And then we come all the way up to the 112 again. We break through all the way up to 114, drop back below. Hit it again, hit it again, hit it again, all the way up to new all-time high at not new all-time high, but 116. Drop all the way back down, hit it again, support, break through, resistance, drop again, come back up to it. So yeah, that's the 112. The 112 is what we really need to get above. And unfortunately, we've gotten above it many times and not held above it yet.
Thank you, Nico.
I don't know if I've helped you with anything there, but I would say 112. Yeah, I would say we need to get above 112 and then hold above it. And then once we do get above 112, we do have a couple other issues. We got to get above 112 and hold. And then we're going to have resistance at 115, 116.
No, at 112, 113, I see it's forming a perfect head and shoulder. I think it will be forming a perfect head and shoulder. Or, I don't know, it might go up. I just want to figure out.
On what time frame are you looking at?
4 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, if you're looking at this as the left shoulder and this is the head and this is the right shoulder here, guys, then
I'm trying to understand, Nico. I'm not like good at it yet.
no, you're asking great questions and you're catching on real quick. This is a downward trending support line.
Thank you.
So on the head and shoulders, you got to do it downward trending. And that's kind of what it looks like right there. So here's the left side. Here's the head. And here's the right shoulder. And so if we do break to the downside, I would take it right from the middle down to that line and go right below that line if we broke to the downside, and that would bring us down to the 87. And the importance of that is basically just clearing the CME gap, in my opinion, which is the 91. It may not even go down that far. It might just go to like 91. But guys, let's look at the CME gap. What are we talking about?
Thank you, Nico. Thank you.
You're
very much.
welcome. Let's just look at let's just look at it. This is it. Down here. So if that is a head and shoulders, which it does look like one, downward trending, and we were to break to that level, this is the CME gap. I mean, there are no coincidences, guys. These things happen. And there's the support and resistance and these levels for a reason. And these patterns, they seem to play out. The reason why they become well-known patterns is because they tend to do what they're known to do, right? Bill, how often is the CME gap filled? 80%, 85%, something
Yeah,
like that?
it's 65 to 80% is the numbers they use. And it does fill all the time. We just filled one.
Yeah. And so, guys, if you ask me what the odds are, the odds are high. Let's look at all of them. Let's just go back and look. CME gap filled. And look how high we got before we filled it. And when we filled it, we didn't just fill it, we went a little bit lower. That's why when I say this could bring us to the 87, that would just be filling that gap, maybe a wick down and then come back up. Just like this. And that could be the biggest push to the upside that we've seen. CME gap filled. CME gap filled. CME gap right there. Filled. CME gap, not filled yet. CME gap right here, filled. CME gap right here, filled. There's another one. Here's one. CME gap, filled.
Been some of my best trades this year. Been these fills.
So instead of being upset that we might go that low or anything, just be strategic about things and don't worry about it and say, okay, well, let's plan in case that happens. This is what we got to do. And make money on it. Yeah, that would I wouldn't even be surprised at all. So let's go look at some other things while we're over here. I mean, here's something interesting. Let me go to the weekly here. This is the RSI down here, guys. on the weekly. We still got bearish divergence, obviously. It's not necessarily a positive thing for the price, but we do have a floor. And we are, it seems to be bouncing on it. And this yellow line on the RSI is the moving average, and we are below it, which is bearish. Let's look at the stochastic RSI on the weekly. Look what happened down here. This is interesting. We broke above. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm on the CME still. I was wondering why these things weren't looking right. We're not quite at the floor yet on the RSI. We do have bearish divergence, but we're not quite at the floor yet. Let me just go down and show you. The floor would be here. But we are below the moving average. If we look at the stochastic RSI, guys, we had a blue line cross the orange line to the upside. And then it crossed back below. And the other day, the blue line was ticking up. I don't know if you guys remember, it was about to cross again, the orange line to the upside, and it didn't. And it just turned back down again. So what's going on? Yeah. I mean, we are down here in the oversold area, guys. So this blue line right here, and by the way, we got 2 days and 7 hours left of this before we will know at the end of this week, Sunday night at midnight, if we are going back up on the weekly, on the stochastic RSI. If this blue line is tilted up like this right here, where it's now coming back up to cross the orange line, it needs to cross the orange line to the upside and get above this dotted line at the 20 on the RSI. And then the orange line has to then also cross up like this. After the blue line crosses the orange line to the upside and gets above that dotted line, the orange line then has to cross up and get above the dotted line. And look what happens in the price when that happens. Boom. That's what we need to see on the stochastic RSI. Let's check something else while we're here. Let's look at the, I'm just going to show you the MACD on this. Moving average, convergence, divergence. It's the stochastic RSI. We got outflow happening. We got money flowing out, and these lines are getting bigger, not smaller. Like here, when the lines are getting longer and longer and longer and longer, it's going down. It's going down. And when the blue line and the orange line are apart, and it gets wider and wider and wider apart, more further falling happens. Now, when it starts to come back around and the blue line turns and starts to come back up, you see the red lines turn pink and they get lighter and lighter and lighter and smaller and smaller and smaller until we go green. Now, we can be pumping up in price while this is happening, but it's not until we go green that we have a bigger move to the upside. And both lines are heading down and both are far apart. So this could just be a sign of more dumping to come before we come back up, like it's happened many times.
What does it look like on the monthly MACD?
does look green. I mean, it was green, but it does look like it's getting less and less here, as you can see. And we got a blue line on the RSI turning down, but it's done that a couple times, and then we had higher highs. But even this little dip right here, this little dip, and that dip is obviously a big downturn on the price on the monthly. If we look at this, this dip right here, just to the downside, was this huge drop from here to here. This dip was just this little turn was from here down to here. I tend to look at the weekly on the RSIs. It's just a little easier to see the month. So much can change in a month.
Yeah, so it was getting lighter green. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what technical analysis is, guys. You're just taking all of the data that is available to you and making an intelligent decision based on how many of the boxes are checked off for it going up, how many boxes are checked off for it going down. If it's 50-50, then you don't want to throw darts and guess. If it's 80% chance it's going down and 20% chance it's going up, then we have to make our decisions based on what's most likely to happen, or vice versa. Doesn't matter to me. I want it to go to 200,000 for Bitcoin. I want everything to shoot up in value, but will I be upset if it doesn't? If it goes down first? No, because it gives me more opportunity to accumulate more Bitcoin at a lower price, or XRP or anything else. Some people are like, "Oh, should I sell this, or should I wait for XRP to drop to $2 before I buy more?" No, I don't think you should. I think you should buy more right now. Anything under $3 is a steal compared to where I think it's going. But that's the greed mindset, trying to always get a lower price. Go ahead.
Yeah, can you take a look at Doge, please? It's down pretty low, and I'm just curious if it'd be something worth getting into if it's going to spike.
I mean, I think Doge will ultimately go up, but I don't think it's going to go up at the same velocity that something with high utility is going to go up, like XRP. But I do have a lot of Doge, but I'm not really talking about it much. I just have it from a long time ago. And also, when Elon Musk was naming, departments of the government Doge, it made me think that maybe they would use Doge for something. When Elon Musk was talking about Doge back in a year and a half ago when he's getting on SNL, we were thinking that maybe he was going to create a payment factor to X for, Twitter or whatever, to like Facebook has. You can send money, or like PayPal or anything else where you can just send payments to people. And I thought maybe he was going to use Doge. But then I'm thinking, why would he do that when he could just create his own crypto? Or maybe he changed the name to X for a reason. What else starts with X?
I actually think that is the sigil of Lucifer, what he's using. It's the very center of the sigil is the X, which is how light enters the eye. It's one of those things the elite think they know that regular people don't know.
Yeah, maybe. And I personally, I don't know Elon Musk. I don't know what his intentions are. I think that maybe he believes he's helping humanity and he's trying to, but who knows? I don't know. I don't know if him and Trump are the devil incarnated. I don't know. And I don't know if there's even such a thing as the devil, or if we've all just been brainwashed to believe in good and evil. Maybe there is no good or evil. Maybe we're just doing whatever we feel like doing, and some people call it good and some people call it bad. It's just like, you ever see those videos of the guy who's got his camera out and he's on the sidewalk and he's filming somebody right inside somebody's business on a busy street downtown, Charlotte, North Carolina or something like that. And the owner comes out and says, "Why are you filming my business?" And he says, "Because I want to." "Well, I don't give you permission." He says, "I don't care what you think. I'm going to call the cops." "Go ahead, call them." Just because she doesn't like it Just because he's doing it and just because she's defensive doesn't mean he doesn't have a right to do it. Doesn't mean he's not allowed to do it. And so why is she so upset in the first place? Because she doesn't know what his intentions are. Why are you doing it? And I don't give you permission to film me. Well, then go walk away from my camera. If you don't want to be filmed, don't stand in front of my lens. That's his argument. And I bring this up is because we do this as humans. We do this all the time. And we argue with people on social media about what's right and what's wrong based on our perspective and based on our opinion and based on what we've been indoctrinated to believe since we were little kids. And then there's people who, even when faced with pure evidence contrary to their belief, they still stick to their belief. And I've changed my belief over the years since I'm a kid based on new evidence, proving that what I used to believe was no longer really true, or not even maybe logical. So I don't know what is the truth. Just like space and just like the planets and the universe and the earth and the shape of the earth and all these new arguments that people are talking about, I'm not going to jump in there and say, oh, you're an idiot for thinking the earth is flat, the earth is round, science is already. I don't know that to be true. I never went out in space and looked back and saw it with my own eyes to see what it actually looks like. And we're assuming that space is even real. We're assuming that even the people who do laugh at the flat earthers, and I look at this from an open-minded perspective, guys. I'm not saying one way or the other because I have no idea. But I look at it as the people who believe in the globe earth are laughing at the flat earthers saying, oh yeah, well, you just, what happens when you get to the end? You just fall off. Oh yeah. And then they show a picture of all the planets and then flat earth. Earth looks like a Frisbee. Every other planet's round. So what they're presuming is that the flat earth people just think that the earth is flat and all the other planets are round. But what the flat earthers really think is that there are no other planets and there's not even space. And when you really think of it that way, it's like, holy shit, it's like mind blown, because most people are just so conditioned that they already believe that the earth is round and it's floating in space with all the other planets and circling around at 1,000 miles an hour and flying through space around the sun at 600,000 miles an hour. And the whole, all the planets, including the sun, is also barreling through space at 1,000,000 miles an hour. You start to, and then nothing's moving and the trees on the leaves aren't even moving. You're wondering, how is this possible? Then you start to look at it from a different perspective. And if you're open-minded enough to at least hear that side of the story, you might even change your own viewpoint on what's actually real, or at least not demand that you're right. Because do you really know what actually is happening? No one does. And,
Somebody
moon landing
knows.
and all this nonsense, guys.
Somebody knows something and they keep it to themselves so that they can enslave the rest of us. That's literally how it works.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, we do have a conspiracy channel and Bill does have a conspiracy call. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, I am fascinated by it. I could talk about shit like that all day long, but I don't like to bring it up because I don't want people to base their opinion of Crypto Renegades based on my belief or anybody's belief. I don't know. I will be the first to tell you, I don't know, but I'm certainly not going to demand that, oh, absolutely, this is the way it is, and you're stupid if you believe otherwise. I will never say that to somebody, ever. I'm open-minded enough to look at everybody's point of view, but unless I've experienced it with my own eyes. Like if you tell me that around the corner there's a bear, I'm not going to say you're wrong because I don't know. But if I walk around the corner, I don't see the bear, then I can speak matter-of-factly about the fact that there's no bear. But until I do that, you could be right. And so I don't worry about things like that too much. But my point in all this is, and I hope, I know we get off track sometimes, guys. I'm talking about all kinds of shit besides actually.
You want to make money in the world, you got to be open-minded. I mean, that's a big thing. I think if you really want to learn and make money and build generational wealth, these people think about the same things we think about. Elon Musk is thinking whether he wants to go to Mars or not. He's wondering himself. You know what I mean? You have to be.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe even the smartest guy on the planet already knows that it's not possible. Why would it not be possible? Because maybe he's tried to get out of the firmament and can't get out in the space already. He tried, and now he knows.
I live here in the valley, close to Elon Musk, and I've seen all his rockets launch. He's actually building a bigger facility to build 100 more rockets per year in the next 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing a lot of stuff. And guys, who knows? There could be people already on Mars. There could be people already on the moon, living underneath the moon, on, hanging out with aliens. I don't know. Shit. I hear all kinds of stories. And I'm bringing all this up though for a reason, because if you're really set in your ways and you're really conditioned to believe something just because you've been told that since you were a kid, then you are limiting yourself to all the potential possibilities. I would suggest that you be open-minded, more open-minded, and do a little more research. When it comes to making money, they say that millionaires use facts. Hold on a second. I can't remember off the top of my head, but millionaires use data and facts to make their decisions, and billionaires use astrology. It's basically
Right.
is basically how it goes. And so,
I mean, that's what's happening right now. We're at the end of an 18.6-year tidal, related to the tides financial market. They're tied together. We're at the peak of the everything bubble right now. The real estate market, the homeowners association, they're thinking that they're done, that they've peaked out, they've topped, that land prices are as high as they can get, and everything else follows. And all of that is tied to the moon. So they know something that they don't want us to know, right? It's just what it is. We can ignore it and pretend, or we can use the same tools. I'm all about using the same tools. Tools of Titans is a good book by Tim Ferriss.
Yes. I would like to say this, guys, before we wrap it up, because we do have an onboarding call starting at 2:00, and it's 1:45 now. We've been on for an hour and 45 minutes. And thank you, Bill, and thank you, everybody. I just want you to understand, guys, it doesn't matter what I believe, doesn't matter what you believe, doesn't matter if we have differences of opinions. One thing that we should all agree on, and one thing that we should all, especially if you're in this group, obviously you're here for a reason, and it is to better your life financially, make more money, secure your wealth, protect your family, all those kinds of things. We all want that, right? And I will tell you this. So no matter whether the world is flat or round, no matter whether you're a Christian or Catholic or Muslim or Jew, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. You probably have that same desire to become wealthy and do better for yourself financially. And I will tell you this, that no matter what your current beliefs or situation is that you will not be as affected by the bad things that are happening in the world. Whether you perceive them as bad or not, you will not be as affected as the majority of the people are if you can just focus on your own economy. Everybody is so wrapped up in what's going on around the world. Oh, we got a recession. Oh, this is going to hurt the economy. Oh, the stock market's crashing. Oh, this and that. But if you focus on your own economy, you can have a great economy. You and your family can have a great economy regardless of what's going on in the world. There's always going to be misery. There's always going to be suffering. There's always going to be calamities. There's always going to be economic collapse. There's always going to be recessions and depressions. And there's going to be all these ups and downs. But during all that, guys, during the most terrible recessions and depressions throughout history, there were always wealthy people that were not affected. They empathized, I'm sure, sympathized with the people that were having hard times, but they weren't affected. Why? Because they took control of their own economy. They made certain that they were not going to be affected by either moving or living in a geographical location that isn't impacted by certain things, whether it's war or famine or storms, hurricanes, earthquakes, things like that. Some people will live on the edge of a cliff in Malibu with fires and earthquakes because they can afford to. And if there's something coming, they can leave. And some people don't worry about stuff like that. In Florida, I live in Hurricane Alley, right? I am in Central Florida in the Tampa Bay area. Half a dozen hurricanes a year. flying all around us. And I've been here 35 years and never had a direct hit ever until last year. Hurricane Helene went up the coast. Didn't even think anything of it because it was going straight up the Gulf of Mexico and it wasn't even going to make landfall. But because it was dragging the current up, as it was spinning around, the tide came in and we had 4 or 5 foot of water in our neighborhood, which the first time I've ever seen that in 35, 40 years of being in Florida. And but certainly there's been plenty of areas in Florida that have been impacted with direct hits and wiped out whole neighborhoods and whole communities. So we know the dangers and the risks of everything we do, and we live with it and we have to deal with it. But the one thing that you can do, the only thing you have control over, is your own personal economy. So you should make it your priority. And by the way, when I say you should do this or you should do that, you don't have to do shit. You don't have to listen to me. I'm just saying that everyone's first priority should be to creating wealth for themselves, if not for themselves, for your family, for your loved ones, because that is the only way to rise above. That's the only way to have a boat that can stand the tides, that can handle rising with the ebbs and the flows. And so you need to protect yourself financially, because I don't know about you guys, but what do we worry about the most in life? Is we worry about our bills, we worry about losing everything, we worry about money, we worry about being broke, we worry about being homeless, we worry about all that. And it always is financial related. It's always money related. And so that's why we're here. So enjoy the conspiracy channel. By the way, we don't really talk about conspiracy theories too much, because most of the theories that have been theories throughout the years have come true. So they usually are conspiracy facts at this point. Liga says some people worry about dying alone. Yeah, dying alone sucks. You know, you're less likely to die alone if you got money, though.
I just figure like this market's like surfing. Every wave's different. The conditions will always change, but you just got to figure out which wave you're going to ride and ride it the right way.
Yeah. It's true, guys. I mean, the ups and downs are inevitable. Good and bad times are inevitable. How we weather them, how we react to things, just like everything in life, guys, how you react is more important than what's actually happening to you. And some people cannot react because they're helpless. I mean, you hear the whole story that's going on right now with the EBT or whatever it's called, the SNAP, the people that are on welfare and food stamps. They're all crying, and videos are being posted that they're just going to go steal and rob, and I can't feed my 8 kids, and I gotta, if I can't get my I'm going to just walk in the store and I'm going to take what I want. I'm not. They want me to get a job. How they expect me to go get work when I got 7 kids to feed? I mean, these are real people posting videos like this. You expect me to go get a job and I'm going to work, 6 hours or 10 hours a day to feed my 7 kids? Because people have been on government support and government welfare for so long, they just feel entitled. How dare you take away my free everything? I know probably no one, I shouldn't say no one, but probably no one in this group is in that situation. And I hope you don't ever get into that situation. But
half of them are not even illegals to Americans to get pushed.
Those are the same people you see buying lobster too at the store.
Yep, and junk food and candy for their kids and soda pop and beer and wine and all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. And they don't save any money. They just, because they know that a deposit's coming next week. And I'm not like getting down on anybody. I feel bad, but at the same time, you got to take responsibility for yourself and your family. And you got to, if you're the breadwinner in your family or for yourself, then you should just, there's a book I highly recommend, guys. It is Wallace D. Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich. If you haven't read it, get it.
It's in the audiobook library.
What's that?
I put it in the audiobook library a long time ago.
Oh, good. It's in the audiobook library.
For free. Yep.
For free. There you go. And he says, and he was Wallace D. Wattles was before Napoleon Hill. He was talking about all this stuff before Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich. He's the original law of attraction mindset guy. So definitely listen to that, guys. But your first I wouldn't say obligation, but your first thing that you should do is get rich. And rich is different to everyone else. So I'm not going to beat on this too long, but it's just the way the world is, guys. We were born into a economic or financial monetary society. Until that changes, we're going to be in it probably for the rest of our lifetime. And that just means that the world is based on money and transactions. And, you know, you have to have money in order to buy things. I wish it was different. I wish that maybe in the future and reincarnated into a utopia where we don't have to work or anything. We just hang out in the garden and sip wine and eat cheese while watching the cows. We don't have to kill anything. We don't have to eat anything. We're just happy. I don't know, but that's just not the way it is. And this is we're the only species on the planet that actually pay to live here. And we have to work our asses off just to barely get by. Some of us. The name of the book, Carmela, is The Science of Getting Rich. Dr. Walter Waddles, I believe. Wallace. It's in our section. What section is it in? I'm sorry.
So in Trader Resources at the bottom, we have an audiobook library. And
Audiobook library and Trader Resources in our Discord group, guys.
Yeah, I'm going to share the link right now to the actual book.
And I know most of you, by the way, if you're brand new and you come on here like, holy shit, we didn't do any trading. We're just talking about all kinds of crazy stuff. Guys, you know, a lot of stuff we talk about will make you more money by understanding this than a technical analysis day. But we have these trading days every day, and we talk about all kinds of stuff on these calls. Right now, the market is just kind of consolidating. It's not really doing much at the moment. Well, actually, someone asked me to look at Doge. Let me just look at it again real quick. I know I got on here, but Doge is 18 cents. Let's just take a bigger look. Let's take a bigger view of it. Just zoom out a little bit. It is upward trending. We did hit, you know, almost 50 cents at one point back a year ago. I think Dogecoin has the potential to probably get to $1 or more in the future. I just don't know why. Unless it gets used for something as a store of wealth or something, it doesn't really have much utility. It is a meme token after all, guys, still. So be careful with it. I mean, I wouldn't invest too much in it. I would invest in things like XRP and Bitcoin, BNB, Solana. Other than XRP, guys, have you sent XLM ever from one wallet to another? It's usually at the destination before you can blink an eye. XLM, Solana, XRP, not only are they ISO 20022 compliant tokens, but they are utilitarian and which one is it? Telegram, not Telegram, something.
HBAR 2. It's the
HBAR.
security for XRP.
Yeah, HBAR. These are lightning fast. So they will be used for transactions, all of them. Solana is the token of choice for not Instagram, not Telegram. What is it? MoneyGram. MoneyGram, guys. MoneyGram. That you go to the grocery store to send money to for the bankless people who need MoneyGram. They are going to go on the Solana blockchain for transaction settlements. All of this. I mean, we're going to that direction. Everything is going to be on the blockchain, guys. Which ones are going to be the most used and utilized over the coming, 5 to 10 years? I'm betting on XRP, XLM, Solana, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still going to be a store of wealth. Bitcoin will climb, but if XRP goes to $1,000 or more, $10,000, which is possible, I won't really care what happens to the rest of them, to be honest with you. It'll be so inconsequential at that point, it won't matter. Because I think once you get to $50 to $100 million, you have a lot more options. Now, if you have $50 million, is the value of the dollar going to be a lot less than it is now in 10 years? Probably, because they're still going to be printing dollars. They're still going to be, unless they back everything up on the blockchain, which they're talking about doing, and a stable coin, a US dollar stable coin, and backed by XRP or backed by gold or backed by Bitcoin or something like that, then we will see a change in the value of the dollar going down over time. But until then, they're probably going to print more over the coming years. Peter, ADA, I believe, is on that list. That's another one to hold. Eventually, it might do something.
Nico, have you heard anything regarding Tau Bittenzer?
I haven't lately. Anybody else know anything about that? I have not. I can do a little background check on it or research and see what's latest on it. It's not at the forefront of the news. I hate to say it, but I think XRP really is at the forefront of all the news that's out there right now. And I think that this is one opportunity that you guys are going to all regret not front running if it does shoot to the moon. And the first moon stop might be $25, might be $50. I don't know. It's not going to go right to $1,000, but if it can hit $1,000 over the next 5 years, I would be very happy.
Jake was saying that 750 by the end of the year.
Yeah, it doesn't have much longer to go. And some people look at that and say that's impossible. It can't even hardly get above $3. How's it going to go to 750? It's not the normal way. It's not because we need billions of people to buy it. It's because of the infrastructure. Once it's set and once they've given the green light to turn everything over to the Ripple network to handle the transactions, the price has to adjust to what it needs to adjust to handle that volume of transactions. And that will be a very quick thing. It will happen quickly. And people will be caught off guard. The music will stop. Someone will not have a chair to sit in.
Yeah, he explained it like, going through the cars going through a pay toll. Once they bump it up, there's more cars, so they need to bump the price up. So the bot that goes from the 3 back to a 1. So there's no congestion in the lines.
Yeah, it's beyond most people's understanding, and you really got to get education on how the money system works and how they're, it's going to take if there's $1 million worth of transactions in the world that XRP is going to have to handle, only 1 million, then XRP would have to be $1 million per XRP. If it was $1 million transaction. But because there's so much XRP, I can't even explain it, guys. I can't even explain it the way I understand it. I'll find the videos that really explain it good, and I'll post that. But in order to handle I think it's $1 quadrillion a day in transactions, XRP has to be between $1,000 and $10,000 in order for that to happen. So whether it's going to happen anytime soon or 10 years from now, I don't know. But from what I understand, all the planets that have to align for that to happen are not only being aligned, it's not a question of if, it's when, and they are already in the process, and all the powers that be that want it to happen are already just sitting, waiting for the go-ahead to buy. Once the banking system and the financial institutions all get the go-ahead, they will dump billions into it. The XRP EFTs and all that are getting ready to go live.
Yeah, and then you can't buy no more XRP.
It might be delisted and you might not be able to buy it. Yes. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. It's 2:00. Onboarding just started. The link Bill put in the chat, and it's also in the Discord group in the trade chat, and it's also in the announcements section. I'm going to keep an eye on everything today. I don't see really anything happening really huge right now. Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum. I'm in 3 trades. I'm still in my open positions from the live call yesterday, but some of them are negative because we did dip down. Just waiting for it to go back up. But if I see any change, if I see anything that I think is worth posting as a signal, I will definitely do that sometime today. If I see anything, happy Halloween, stay out of trouble, don't do anything stupid out there, and
Thank you, Nico.
have a great day to you too, Ted. Thank you, everybody. Get on the onboarding call if you're new. Thank you for your contribution, for all of you know-it-alls out there who are posting great stuff. And I don't mean that in any derogatory way. Those of you who know what you're doing and you're helping out in the chat and you're helping out other people with their questions, we really appreciate that. I will suggest that you don't answer a question if you don't really know the answer, though, because I don't want to lead people the wrong way. But if you really understand what you're talking about, we do appreciate it when you're helping other people. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Happy Halloween, and I will see you. I will probably go live again tomorrow morning, even though it's Saturday, just for the hell of it, because there could be something that happens over the weekend. So I'll keep an eye on that, and I'll let you know if I do. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day.